Hi, I'm Deborah Murtagh, and this is your politically incorrect guide to nourishing your body and feeding your mind. I'm going to make a cashew nut milk first. I'm going to add a bit of yacon syrup, which is a prebiotic food that feeds beneficial bacteria in the gut, and that's going to make a beautiful, creamy, delicious milk. Later on in the series, we're going to actually visit a dairy farm and look at the difference between modern milk as opposed to traditional milk. But given that 67% of our population now have a dairy intolerance, we're going to focus on teaching how to make a simple nut milk today. And then I'm going to add some protein to it by adding a couple of raw eggs. If you're concerned about salmonella in eggs, you've got about a 1 in 30,000 chance of that happening. And if you wash the eggshells, that minimises that completely. We're also going to add colostrum, which is one of my favourite superfood products. Colostrum is extraordinarily good for nearly every part of your body. Not only is it anti-aging, it helps repair muscles, it also increases bone density, but it's also extremely good for the immune system. It will actually bind to foreign invaders and help the body process and eliminate them. So it's antibacterial, antiviral, anything that you don't want in there is great. And it also counteracts, is known to destroy salmonella. Now we've also got the yacon syrup that I mentioned before. This is what the yacon root actually looks like, and it is a tubular root and grows in cold climates, and it is extremely good as a prebiotic. Now a prebiotic is something that feeds beneficial bacteria in the system, whereas a probiotic is the bacteria itself. So the next ingredient we're going to add is some probiotic, and I think if you stimulate the body every day with a bit of beneficial bacteria, it's really helping strengthen the immune system. And there are certain prebiotics and probiotics now that are known for the benefits of treating conditions such as eczema in children, but the research around the world on prebiotics and probiotics is phenomenal. So it's a very exciting new field in medicine. And then the last product that we're going to add is some bee pollen, which is a complete food. And this is basically like a natural multivitamin. And we're also going to add some vitamin D. Now vitamin D is good for everything, and most people generally have a deficiency, particularly over winter months. So it's extremely important for the immune system. Of course, we now know that the latest research on skin cancer is a lot of it's contributing to a lack of sun. So certainly if you're not getting enough sunlight, you need to add vitamin D to your diet. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is make the cashew nut milk. So what I've done is I've soaked a cup of cashew nuts in a cup of water overnight. And that just helps break down any anti-nutrients that might be present in the nuts. And I'm going to add a little bit of yacon syrup to sweeten it. If you don't have yacon syrup, you can use a couple of dates to sweeten it, or a little bit of palm sugar, but I prefer yacon because it's got the added benefit of feeding good bacteria in the body, and kids kind of like it. It's got a bit of a butterscotch flavour to it, so by the time we add the frozen bananas, it'll be a delicious flavour. So a bit of yacon in there. I'm going to pop the lid in and get that going into a creamy milk first of all. Okay, wait for that to blend. You want it really, really thick and creamy at this point. Off and just have a look at the consistency and make sure that it's really, really super fine. Okay, I'm going to keep that going for a little bit longer. Now if you're using cashew nut milk as a general milk to have with homemade mueslis and cereals, you might want to add a little bit more water to get it to the right consistency that you're after. But for this smoothie, we're actually going to make it nice and thick and creamy. And by adding frozen bananas, we're actually going to make it really delicious, almost like a snow freeze, which kids really love at breakfast time in summer. Okay, so we've got a beautiful creamy consistency in our cashew nut milk. And now I'm going to add in our 2 eggs. And our frozen bananas. This is equivalent to probably 1 banana. And we're going to add in our bee pollen. Chuck all the ingredients in. You can add anything you like into here. I don't like to put too much bee pollen in because it does have quite a strong flavour. So a teaspoon is fine. And we're going to add about 2 teaspoons of the colostrum powder, or 2 heaped teaspoons actually. Every time I have this stuff, I feel amazing. It gives you a lot of energy throughout the day. And add our prebiotic powder. Probably up to half a teaspoon to a teaspoonful of that. Bearing in mind this is going to feed 2 or 3 people. And your vitamin D. So vitamin D doses, they're really upping the minimum daily dose at the moment. It used to be quite low, but I think you need about 10,000 international units a day. So I'm going to put a decent dose in there, given that there's going to be 3 of us drinking it. So, and then we just blend it all up. Perfect. So now we're going to pour this out and serve it up. Right, now remember that this is a heart-healthy, mood-enhancing, good high-vibe food.